Tonight on Business Prime, developing countries like Ghana challenge to generate more domestic revenue to fill up financing gap that has hit economies due to COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine war. We'll hear from the second Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana.
For example, estimates that African governments will need to raise about $285 billion additional funding from 2021 through 2025 to effectively respond to the effects of the pandemic.
The NPRA retrieved 7.8 million cedis from recalcitrant employers in 2021 as it steps up its game to ensure that all employers contribute their Tier 2 pension scheme for employees.
We have been granted prosecutorial powers by the Attorney General to prosecute defaulting Tier 2 contributors and participating employers. In 2021, the authority prosecuted 10 recalcitrant employers who defaulted in paying their Tier 2 contributions.
Also, government urged to remove some taxes on petroleum products to address the increasing demand for charcoal over the rising cost of LPG.
We believe that if these taxes are removed from LPG, we can go a long way to reduce the price of LPG so we can save our forests.
We have all these stories and more coming up shortly with me, Charles Ayitey, to stay with us.
The business segment is brought to you by
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Frutali, the all-natural fruit juice.
Hello and welcome. The second Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Elsie Ado-Awaji, has reiterated the need for developing countries like Ghana to generate more domestic revenue to fill the financing gap that has hit economies around the world. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine war, according to her, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has estimated that African countries will require additional funding of $285 billion to bridge the financing gap that has come about due to the war in Europe. Take a listen to her.
The IMF, for example, estimates that African governments will need to raise about $285 billion additional funding from 2021 through 2025 to effectively respond to the effects of the pandemic. The African Development Bank also estimates that African governments would need some $484 billion from over the next few years to address the socioeconomic impacts of the pandemic and to support economic recovery efforts. These are large sums of money that we're talking about that the continent needs.
Well, meanwhile, the Chief Executive of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC, Yofi Grant, has assured that regardless of the global challenges, government will work to attract investors into the country.
Ghana is in another crisis. They've had to lock down large cities, some with 30 million people who are in production. And that in itself, over the past 2 years, has really affected shipping costs. So that's also affected trade. And because of that, many countries are still riling under that. I mean, even from some of the best economies are seeing, really strained environments. But Ghana seems to be holding its own. Of course, yes, we do have a debt problem, which we've had ever since. And I believe that the sort of ecosystem being created in the country today is going to be what will change that whole perspective. The fact that there is an emphasis on value addition and productivity instead of just exporting our raw materials is definitely a step in the right direction. We should have happened many years back, but it didn't happen. But now, through the one district, one factory policy, we've made the groundwork and set up the trajectory of industrializing our country.
Now, the National Pensions Regulatory Authority, through its prosecutorial powers, has been able to retrieve some 7.8 million cedis from 10 defaulting employers for the Tier 2 pension scheme. The Deputy Chief Executive of the NPRA, David Tete Abbey, who disclosed this at the 10th anniversary launch of Enterprise Trustees in Accra, notes that the fund under management have seen some significant growth. We have more in this report.
Enterprise Trustees is one of the first to be licensed by the National Pension Regulatory Authority to manage Tier 2 pension funds in the country. According to the NPRA, although the contribution of Enterprise Trustees has been enormous in growing the industry, many employers are still not paying the contribution of their staff, hence the prosecution. This is part of moves by the regulator to get all employers to sign onto the pension schemes for their employees to enjoy pension and retirement benefits.
We have been granted prosecutorial powers by the Attorney General to prosecute the 14 Tier 2 contributors and participating employers. In 2021, the authority prosecuted 10 recalcitrant employers who defaulted in paying their Tier 2 contributions. A total of 7.8 million Ghana cedis was retrieved as a result of this exercise. In 2021, the NPRA instituted the National Pension Awareness Week to increase pension awareness and the need to contribute to secure one's retirement income. Again, we continue to hold informal sector activations in several areas in the country to promote education and sensitization about pensions.
Enterprise Trustees, after 10 years of operation, has about 6.2 billion cedis of assets under its management. Its managing director, Joseph Ampofu, assured that the trustee will do more to improve the quality of pensions.
We especially celebrate our customers for their loyalty over the years. We might not always get it right, but thank you for sticking with us as we work hard to improve our service delivery to you. Again, we appreciate your feedback and constructive criticism to us. We do not take it for granted. Because of our partnership with you, we currently have approximately 583,000 memberships on our books, have the privilege of managing over 6.2 billion in assets. Through our commitment to you to bring you the preferred advantage, we have settled various benefit payouts.
The theme for the anniversary is 10 years of trust, partnering to secure your future.
Now, the LPG Marketers Association is charging government to remove some taxes on petrol products to address the rising demand for charcoal. According to its Vice President, Gabriel Kumi, the current taxes that OMCs and fuel consumers have to grapple with is what has caused the price of LPG to shoot up. Speaking on the marketplace, Mr. Kumi said burning charcoal is just not the way to go.
Somewhere in the middle of last year, the LPG Marketing Companies Association, predicted that by the end of the year, into first quarter this year, we're going to buy LPG at about above 10 cedis, and that is what is really happening now. And obviously, if that happens, you are going to push a lot of people out of consumption of LPG. A lot of factors have contributed to this. Obviously, the rising price of crude oil is one of the major factors. But we have always believed that the taxes we put on LPG are so unnecessary. They are really the cost of the continuous hike in the LPG prices. And we believe that if these taxes are removed from LPG, we can go a long way to reduce the price of LPG, so we can save our forests. But what I just heard is Forestry Commission encouraging the burning of charcoal, because more or less they are trying to legalize it by saying that, look, you can just come and pay a fine and continue cutting our trees for charcoal. I don't think that is the way to go. The best way out is for us to improve the use of LPG. And we have been calling on government to take serious measures to ensure that the use of LPG is improved in Ghana. Recently, government is spending so much money on tree planting. Look at the millions of cedis we are spending to plant trees. But we believe that these trees will not live to serve their purpose if we don't take cautious, if we don't work seriously at ensuring that we increase and improve the use of LPG in Ghana.
Well, today is World Intellectual Property Day, and young people are being urged to pay particular attention to intellectual property to protect their ideas, creativity, and monetize their skills. According to Sarah Noko Anku, the lack of intellectual property reduces the value of one's idea as well as affects the investor confidence. Mrs. Anku said this at the launch of her book, Monetizing Your Creativity and Innovation, an Introduction to Intellectual Property.
April 26 is marked as World Intellectual Property Day. The event was established by the World Intellectual Property Organization in the year 2000 to raise awareness on patents, copyright, trademarks, and designs. To mark this year's celebration, Sarah Noko Anku outdoored her book, Monetizing Your Creativity and Innovation, an Introduction to Intellectual Property.
The book talks about these ideas and how you can create ideas that can fetch you something in the future. Ideas that are original to you, that will meet the requirements of protection, because you need the protection in order to add that value to what you have. Because without the protection, anybody at all can compete with you. The ideas will be stolen. You cannot make anything out of it, and it will end up on the shelf. But when you have all these ideas protected, then of course you will have something of value to kind of encourage investors. So I believe that if we encourage people, we introduce people to intellectual property in a manner that they would really appreciate, they will really understand, they would use that to their benefit. We'll create more jobs.
Deputy Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Mark Okreku-Mante, joined the call of admonishing the youth to take advantage of steering their law career paths into intellectual property as the world has now gone digital.
In my younger days again, at Kwame Nkrumah Circle, I saw someone playing Das Benjamin's Kokoko. So I went close and said, you know, around Circle, and Fabrofu Niagro or Yeketri. So I tell you, no. But now and they say, I'm a movie. So what can I say? My record movie will be so open. I said, but you are infringing on somebody's right. I said, maybe I will not. And so it is important that we start from the roots, which is not myself, Odelia, or IGP's rep. It is the ones in blue and white. So that when you become lawyers, you don't just go and do land and the rest. Some of you should do IP, so that we can change the story, whether we like it or not. The next phase of life is in that area because of the phones, because of technology.
Also present was former Attorney General Betty Mould Idrisu. This is what she had to say.
IP is it is the wave which keeps our world going and making us a better place. It is the wave which brings about the new things in life, and it makes the world a better place. And those who share with the world their intellectual creativity, whether it's in patents, or in trademarks, or in industrial designs, or in textile designs, or in drumming and dancing.
This year's World Intellectual Property Day was themed Intellectual Property and the Youth, Innovating for a Better Future.
To involve young girls in ICT, MTN Ghana says it will increase its investments to help young girls take advantage of the technology world. The Senior Manager for Sustainability and Social Impact, Robert Kuzo, says building a career in ICT will make women self-dependent to contribute their quota to socio-economic development.
The Girls in ICT initiative draws attention to the need to bring more girls and young women into tech, ICT and STEM sectors. It is aimed at exposing young girls to opportunities in the ICT sector through mentorship and open day programs to prepare them for ICT-related professions in future. Here is the Senior Manager Sustainability and Social Impact for MTN Ghana, Robert Kuzo.
MTN is partnering the Ministry of Communications to embark on this initiative because of the impact this initiative is going to have on our young females within the ICT sector. These females are females that have been drawn from the rural areas. So this initiative is actually going to give them the opportunity to also match up with their fellow females within the urban communities, and also to empower women in general, to come into the ICT space.
According to the Deputy Minister for Communications, Ama Puma Boateng, the selected girls will be taken through basic information and technology skills. She maintained that the girls will be monitored against cyber attacks after the program.
I can give you bigger this, bigger that, and these girls are falling for it because they will say that when you have these features, you get a man to buy your house in East Legon or airport or live at these prime areas. So they are all falling for that, and their pictures, their naked pictures are available online. So our focus is on cyber security and data privacy before anything else. We work in different capacities and with different institutions. So in the past, everybody was doing the same. We were basically doing the same thing and targeting the same people. But now we've come together and we know that Ministry of Education, for instance, has encouraged University of Mines, UMAT, Mines and Technology, to come up with a pre-engineering program, which is like a one-year program where students who didn't take up science in the secondary schools can go for a year program at that university and later on take up engineering courses there. So we are still in talks. Whatever is good and applicable, we're doing that.
The Girls in ICT program is an international initiative adopted in 2012 by all international telecommunications union member states, including Ghana.
Now, tech billionaire Elon Musk has been warned that he must protect Twitter users from harmful content after he struck a $44 billion deal to buy the social media giant. The billionaire vowed to relax content restrictions, sparking fears from human rights groups it could lead to a rise in bullying and misinformation. The European Commission also warned Mr. Musk that he must protect users. Meanwhile, there have been varied reactions to Musk's takeover of Twitter. Earlier, I spoke to blogger Amel Deborah.
As users, we want the best. And if the direction that Elon says he's going really materialize, then I'm sure that we're going to get a lot more out of Twitter. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to what these changes would mean in terms of content creation, in terms of usability, the interfacing, what other developers can plug into the system and benefit from it and all of that. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't want to jump the gun. I think at the moment it's still early. We don't really know what really the motives are and also what clear-cut agenda he has to uplift it from what it is now to what he wants to become. But as somebody who has always plugged into social media to spread my content, to engage and build some sort of influence, I want that to continue and perhaps get a bit more amplified. Talking about algorithm and all of that, everybody wants to be seen. And the more these places become so populated and you see that your reach is reducing, but if there comes a proper way where content and information gets trickled down to everybody based on their point of need, more than what everybody else is seeing, perhaps, I think it will help us. And for those who are in different spaces, whether you're doing business, tech, whatever, you want whatever you're doing to reach a certain community of people that have a need for what you do. So enriching that experience, I think, is one of the best ways that users on platforms such as Twitter can benefit, whatever the agenda is.
Away from that, the Minister for Trade and Industry, Alan Tremantin, is calling on financial institutions to initiate schemes that will enable women entrepreneurs access significant yet affordable loans, highlighting some factors that could improve the economic well-being of businesswomen. The minister stressed the need to include women in the national development agenda. Speaking at the Ghana Women Entrepreneurship Summit, Mr. Tremantin urged women entrepreneurs to also build the capacity to enable them fully utilize the funds provided by these financial institutions.
Given the inherent risks associated with the operations of MSMEs, such as their small size, financial inadequacy, and newness in the sector, female business owners in that space are likely to struggle more compared to their male counterparts. It is for this reason that the Minister for Trade and Industry, Alan Tremantin, made a call to financial institutions to develop products to fund women-led businesses.
If we want to help women entrepreneurs to access credit in a more significant way, then we have to identify the challenge of not having the capacity to provide security to support the applications for loans. In this regard, the Deputy Governor for the Bank of Ghana is here. And I want the Bank of Ghana, together with our financial institutions, to initiate a program that will provide guarantee support for loans that go to women. Secondly, if the Bank of Ghana and the banks are going to depend on this guarantee scheme to support you to access more funding, then you need also to have the capacity to manage your businesses. Yes, money is important, but if you cannot manage your business, your business will fail and you cannot pay your loans.
Minister of Communication and Digitalization, Ursula Owusu-Ekuful, advised the women to include digital platforms in their marketing strategies.
About a year ago, I came across a young lady who was repackaging chewing sponge, sari. She buys it from the market, sanitizes it, breaks it into small packs, and packages it nightly for sale. And I put it on my Facebook page and encouraged people to buy it and chew it because of its benefits. I mean, we have the best teeth in the world. You know some of the comments that I got? Instead of focusing on my work as Minister for Communications, now I'm selling sari. But I did that because I think we can all, in our own small way, promote our local manufactured products and utilize them. I only use black soap shampoo for my hair and shea butter products for my skin as well. And I think it is absolutely essential that we use it. And I know that DEA is already doing it, but we need to use digital tools to expand our market.
At this year's Ghana Women Entrepreneurship Summit, organized by the Ghana Enterprise Agency and its partners, the We Rise Network was launched to create a support system for women in MSMEs. Here is Chief Executive of the Ghana Enterprise Agency, Kosi Yankee Aye.
In 2018, when we began this journey, we had no idea where it would take us. But one thing was clear: we wanted to support Ghanaian women entrepreneurs together. And why was this so important to GEA? To better understand their needs and for us to find ways to support them as the apex MSME government agency in Ghana. The theme of the maiden summit was from voices to actions, and it resonated well with all the participants then, and brought along with it the need to set up a women's entrepreneurs network. Today, as we open the third biennial summit, the journey has not been without its own challenges. However, what I have learned is that although the journey has not been easy, it has been fruitful.
Well, and that'll be it for Business Prime, but we'll leave you with Money Lab, where we give you tips on how best to spend and invest your capital, after which we'll come your way with Prime Sports with Oreko Ampofo. My name is Charles Ayitey. Many thanks for watching, and still be with Joy News.
Hi there, thank you for joining us on the Money Lab. What is portfolio risk? Portfolio risk is the possibility that a combination of assets within your investments will fail to meet your financial or investment objectives. Now, each investment within a portfolio carries its own risk, with higher potential return typically meaning higher risk and vice versa.